Great. Um, Welcome to the Natural Energy 8 and Choose Love call. I'm very excited that you're all here. I'm Susan Fisher, and if you guys would go ahead and introduce yourselves, or actually, why don't I introduce you, and then you just raise your hand. Thomas, Natural Energy 8, Sarah, Natural Energy 3, Kyla, Natural Energy 8, and Shannon, Natural Energy 3. So obviously, we have 3 and 8 today, which is very fun. And me, Susan, I'm a 6. So our topic today is Natural Energy 8, and then the last chapter in our book, which is about choosing love. And what does that mean? And I think it's kind of interesting that we're talking about 8 and choosing love in the same call. So what we usually do when we start our calls is everybody is going to activate your own natural energy spot. So for the 8s, tuck that tailbone, feel your feet. And your 3 is the lift and the focus. And I'll do my 6th thing. Thomas and Kyla, you are our 8s. Just kind of feeling you guys like you're so solid and gentle. And that's one thing I want to talk about today is, what does gentleness mean to you guys, and how does it relate to your 8-ness?
Well, I have experienced that I'm getting more and more gentle almost every day since I discovered my natural energy and started practicing these 9 energies. So I really feel a change in my life, and I feel that I get more and more gentle every day, actually. I know some 8s can be quite hard, and I've probably been hard earlier before as well, but as long as I have connection with my spot, I get more soft and gentle as a person.
I had an interesting experience with an 8 in Helena a couple months ago, and while I was pushing on her I did the straight arm posture with her. Hi, Nina.
Hi.
This is Nina Denny, Natural Energy 2. So I was pushing on this 8, and I became aware of the supreme gentleness, the space of 8 that is just like so gentle. It really kind of blew me away. And then you guys are on the other side so powerful. And so what's that like for you guys to balance that?
You know, Susan, somebody once said to me, it was like a quote I saw somewhere, but it was about approaching life with a strong back and a soft front. And that really resonated for me. And I don't know if that's just a natural energy 8 or not, but like really being strong in who I am, and then allowing for everybody else to be who they are, and kind of just sort of not being rigid in my ways, but being very solid in my foundation. So allowing for everybody to be the way that they are, and to be expressed the way that they are, and I'm sort of like in holding all of it. Like I can hold the space for anybody, and also be strongly rooted in who I am. And that's something that has been sort of awakened, that being able to be with both of those at the same time in the last couple of years as I've explored this natural energy concept.
I really, I like that, a strong back and a
Soft
front. And you know, we all learn from each other, and that is a very I can see how that would really resonate for 8.
So I used to think it had to be sort of either all hard or all soft, you know, but that balance. And I'm also a Libra, so to me it's like about balance, you know. But that balance between the two just really seems like the more I can bring 2 extremes into the one place, like I feel like then I'm kind of covering everything. So the strong back and the soft front and the sort of the allowing, but then also being really creative. So like both of those places, both of those things kind of coexisting, like as I bring those 2 things that seem opposite into one space, it feels like that's where like I'm really having an impact and power in my life.
What are the things you guys struggle with? What's hard for you guys?
I feel I need acceptance from people. Need people to see me. It's very hard if I get left out, and if someone talks about me behind my back or something, threatens my integrity. I don't experience that often, but I can remember from childhood and growing up that was things that made me feel really uncomfortable.
That's really interesting. I did I think it was like the Strengths Finder personality quiz or whatever a few years back, and 3 of my characteristics were includer, arranger, and connectedness. And when those sort of are threatened or not present, I feel uncomfortable. You know, like if there's some sort of exclusion, like when I'm doing something, I try to include everyone. And when I get excluded from something, it really triggers me. And I've been working on why that triggers me, but you know, that's sort of like my natural tendency is to try to include all of it. And then that connection. And it's really interesting what you said, Thomas, about people seeing me. I've been really getting present to that in the last couple of years of like, am I willing to be seen? And then when I'm not seen, I get irritated, but I sort of assume people don't see me. And there's something funny for me. I'm still discovering like what the sweet spot is there for me on that. But it was interesting that you brought up being seen. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if you meant it like as an acknowledgement or just like sort of how you meant it, but it kind of just made me think of the things I've been looking at in my life.
So one of the challenges between the natural energies is we use the same language, but we actually really mean different things. So I'm curious when you guys are talking about inclusion, what that means. You know, how would you describe being included and included in what? What does that mean to you in a bigger sense? Or even a more specific sense. You can give me an example.
It can be as easy as someone talking about doing something at work, buying new equipment or planning something, and if I feel that they don't ask me, I can feel like I'm not included, and that doesn't feel any good. It's with friends gather if they don't ask me. Yeah, I think it's in many different I'm sorry, I'm Norwegian, so I have to try to think in English here. So it can take a little while sometimes.
You're doing great, Thomas. You're doing great.
Yeah, it's just when people are doing things, and I really feel like it's nice to be asked and nice to be seen, and yeah.
I agree. For me, it's the same. And then also like if there's something being formed at the office, like a group or something, like I feel like I should get picked for everything, you know, like I should be included in everything. And then like I want to be in the know of everything, you know, just because not like from a gossip standpoint, but because I feel like I'm in touch with everything. And so like there should be nothing going on that doesn't include me. And then also when I'm making decisions, you know, as a leader, I try to think of like, well, how does this impact everyone? You know, it's not like we should do this and just kind of run off on a tangent. I mean, when I do that, it's like, well, how does this impact everyone, down to the person who's, you know, just doing the errands in the office, up to the CEO. Like I'm really always thinking of how does this decision impact everybody in the office, all of our clients, all of our vendors, you know, like every decision is sort of looked at as a part of the whole. And in that sense, I feel like I include all of it and all of them in the decisions that I'm making.
I've heard Choose talk about inclusion being important as well. Nina, do you want to give sort of the two definition of what inclusion feels like to you?
Inclusion would mean taking into consideration all of the perspectives that people could have on the issue. For me, I guess, and including those people and their experiences into your decisions or into the creation. So it would be different in different scenarios, but if that makes sense.
That's interesting because you said perspectives, and I don't really think of the perspectives. I think of the impact. So I've been thinking of making sort of a big move, and I think of how that will impact everyone and everybody's feelings around it, but not necessarily their perspectives on it. Just how my perspective of how it would impact them. It's just a little bit different. It's interesting.
Yeah, that is.
These are the nuances, because 9 is also about inclusion, but there's no 9 here to ask on the call. But you know, if you have a 9 friend, ask them what inclusion means, and you can see the definition of inclusion is actually slightly different. Integrity. Let's define. I would love to hear how you Thomas and Kyla define integrity. What does that mean to you?
Thomas, do you want to go?
Okay. It's always important for me to feel like I am in control over myself, over my body, and the space around me. And it's just to be able to hold my integrity is very important.
So by holding your integrity, are you talking about your body's space, the space of your body, how you feel in your body? Yeah,
both actually. And how other people see me. Just to have control over how people see me and how people react when they see me. Not like controlling them, but to control my appearance, I think. To stay strong and gentle.
So do you mean staying within your own physical strength, but with your 8 active? Is that what you're talking about?
I guess so. I don't think I always think about that, but if I feel like I don't have my integrity, I don't feel well. I don't like when people start pushing me or stressing me or nagging me. That I feel like that threatens my integrity, and I don't really feel comfortable then.
So it threatens the integrity of your process
and my appearance and my feelings, my body, everything. I can feel everything in my body. It doesn't always. It's not just about the body, but I feel everything. So if I get threatened or my integrity gets threatened, I can feel it in my body. If I don't get included, I feel it in my body. It's probably hard to explain because it's natural for me.
So when you say you feel it in your body, are you do you feel it in like individual cells or?
Yeah, I think so. So if I don't feel good, if I don't get included, if I get sad, I can feel it in my stomach, I can feel it in my legs, I can feel it in my arms.
Wow.
I don't know if it's like that for you, Kyla, but I always thought that was normal for everyone.
It's very body-based. And sometimes it's like in a certain region, but sometimes it's just like the whole. Like the whole body feels like not right. Like there's something, for me to do it's like I have to hold my space. I have to hold my space in this world. And like when things aren't going right, I develop a limp. I get stomach aches. I literally like just my hip gives out. Like it's just very how I interact with this world is very much from the neck down in a lot of ways, even though like my brain's always moving like everybody else's, but my well-being is very rooted in my body. It's kind of hard to explain, but
well, I appreciate you guys trying to give words to your reality, just so other people can appreciate how different the reality of living in an 8 body is so incredibly different.
I was reading something the other day, and it talked about language. Language is linear, and consciousness is experiential. So it's, expansion, and language is representational. And so sometimes when you're trying to use language to describe something, it doesn't quite settle the way that it doesn't quite get to the essence of it, because it's not really it, right? It's just the words describing it. Yeah. And that's very present for me as I try to talk about my natural energy 8 body in this world.
Do you guys notice a difference between when you consciously activate? So if you actually sort of tip that tailbone, so it's pointing to the earth, and you feel your connection down, and the integrity sort of comes into your body, is there a difference in what you perceive when that happens? And does that happen for you? Because that's just my way of activating 8 in my body.
I just feel like I'm always in that space. Like I don't feel like there's an activation for me. The only time I felt the activation was when I worked with Martin, and he activated a different energy for me, and I felt totally like I was going to tip over. I think he activated like a 5 or something, and I felt like I was going to fall over. I had no idea what was going on with me, and when I reactivated the natural energy 8, I felt normal again. And so I don't know that I'm ever like not in that natural energy activation.
Yeah, I've had 5s and 8s tell me that there's not any sort of shift when, like, or when I push on your hips, or you know, what do you feel a difference when somebody pushes on your hips in 8?
Yeah, it feels really good. I get really calm and feel strong, feel love.
You feel love.
Yeah.
You feel love from and for?
I just feel it. I remember especially some weeks ago when Birgit pushed on me on my 8 spot, and I was really into it. I was so amazingly strong. I didn't use any force at all, and I just felt love in my whole body.
I feel whole.
Yeah.
Like I feel complete when you push on the hips, and I really feel that strong activation. I feel very complete in the world.
And I can when I run on the treadmill, I do some like high intensity interval training. When I start getting tired, I can realize that I'm like running on my head or my chest in front, and then I start thinking, okay, I have to tuck in my table and then find the force from my natural energy 8 spot, and then I get stronger. Then I can continue to run, and it gets easier. So there's definitely something there.
So it strengthens you and brings you more into your power.
Yeah.
But your body is always aware of that is your main sensor for what you're experiencing.
Yeah, I think so.
I have a question. May I ask a question of the 8?
Yes. I'm gonna turn that down somehow.
I'm always curious what I feel like there's sort of a like for each natural energy there's sort of a fantasy version. Like what if the whole world and everyone around you like did everything they're like supposed to do and responded to you the way that that feels, you know, like sort of disconnected from how we sort of tolerate each other. Is there sort of a version of reality where like if 8s ruled the world, like what would it look like? That's what would it look like in sort of specific ways? Like, you know, I'm really curious about that version of the best possible reality.